NotTwo. There's already no you.
alreadynottwo.com.
So, welcome to this so-called meeting. This meeting isn't about something. Neither is it about nothing. What apparently seems to happen is that already NotTwo is pointing to all there is. And all there is nothing. So, this is nothing. Nothing appearing as just this, whatever this is, or whatever labels you want to put on it. We can tell a story about it, but that is what it still would be, just a story with some labels that are being used when nothing is appearing as voice, for example, computer screen, talking, or whatsoever. So it's pointing to nothing, to nothing is all there is. This is all there is. There's nothing separate from it. And maybe it doesn't look that way. That's the other awful part of this so-called meeting, because this cannot be experienced. And it's even worse that there is a you who seems to experiencing this that is seen as an illusion, or that is seen as illusory, which doesn't make any sense, probably. What seems to happen is that almost everyone you will meet, or you will come across, or you will see, it seems like they are talking to a you, they are talking to a real you. And by doing so, what seems to happen, maybe without saying it, but automatically they are confirming it, that you are really someone. And when you're really someone, then they are automatically confirming that you are someone who's having free will and choice. And the suggestion that is being made here today is that there is a you who has free will and choice is seen as illusory. So it's a debunking of the myth that there is such a thing as an individual who has free will and choice. It just simply isn't there. And there is someone who would like to join, so I will just give, voila, someone who can join, who can also join this so-called meeting. So that is basically the suggestion that is being made here. When there are questions appearing, just you can unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can do it in the chat if there is a preference. I will try to keep an eye on it, see what's happened or what doesn't.
NotTwo.
Nico?
Yes.
Do you hear me? Yes. Hello, hello.
Sorry.
Nico. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Do you hear? Yes. Yeah, except that silence tells everything, but the me can't imagine his own non-existence.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And fears it like the ultimate death, you know, because when you have a soul, you still survive the physical death and stuff like this, right?
If you say so, yeah.
Maybe, maybe, yeah. No, this is what one thinks, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the ultimate end, but it's the end of the end of the end, right? It's like there is no end anymore after that.
Well, it's basically, yeah, go ahead.
No, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I can do that as well. No worries. So it's basically the end of something that just, it didn't start. So it's the end of something that hasn't started.
Yeah.
We can talk about so-called liberation, for example. So liberation is just a story. Liberation is a story about when the me dies. But when the me dies, it is just seen that there never ever was a me. So it's not that there is a you who has started and then suddenly can come to an end or whatsoever. It just simply isn't there.
It's funny and awful at the same time, but it's also yeah. You know, Tony Parsons for me was like really the only one who was, you know, he was something different with him than the other ones, you know. And this was your master, yeah. So
my master,
so simple and true, yeah. Whatever.
That was my master.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Well,
seemingly.
But to put it in a story, or to put it with other words, it's still rare these days that this communication, to put it like that, this, if you want to put a label on it, this non-dual communication, which is already a story itself, of course, because there is no such thing as non-duality. So in that sense, it's just an empty story. Though it's still rare, this communication, because most of the times when the term or the concept of non-duality is used, it's basically just duality. Maybe sometimes in a very subtle way, but they are still talking to a you who can do something to get somewhere, for example. And that turns out here it doesn't to be the case. So what is being shared on Already NotTwo is not talking to a you, and it's even worse, this doesn't see a you. It's a seeing that there is no you. There never was someone in that sense.
No problem. No, it's, yeah. But it's like, it's the same, you know, just without the you, right? Like,
depend on what you mean. What's the same?
Like
if you're saying it's the same, you have, then it's already a comparison to something. And what is happening is everything, apparently. So in that sense, it's just impossible to make a comparison.
But the interesting thing is the character remains, the body remains. Actually, this is the identification also, body and character. But it remains. So it's a little bit paradox.
This message is a complete paradox. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a very paradoxical message, to put it like that. Because what seems to happen is that for some people or some apparent individuals, they are looking for freedom, for example, or enlightenment, or whatever that is longed for. And everyone you will come across, or you will meet, is just feeding that same dreamt reality to help you to get somewhere. And just liberation or this freedom, it's just seen that this is all there is. But paradoxically, it can only be seen when that illusion of being someone is no more. So that's the paradox in that sense. Yeah. And what the me seems to fear the most is its own absence. So in that sense, liberation is the death of a you.
You, not you, but a you, right?
Sorry?
Not you, but a you, you know, like, is it like your false self dies? Because your false self dies.
what seems to happen is that there seems to be a sense and a belief that there is a you who has free will and choice, for example. And that is illusory. So it's the end of something that was an illusion all along. So it's not that there is a real you who can die because you were never born in the first place. Seems to be what seems to happen. It's a story, of course. This is storytelling. There is someone entering.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Just somebody's entering. Okay.
Sorry. Just you will grieve and be in shock as long as you're not dead already.
Sorry, like say that again.
Yeah. You will be in shock and grief and stuff as long as the you is alive.
Who is going to be in shock? We're talking about
the you will be in shock that it's dying when it's not died yet fully, or what?
There are no rules to this.
No
what
rules.
We're talking about is there is already no one. So in that sense, there is not a real you who will die. It's just a story. So what seems to happen is that there seems to be, from a certain age, there seems to be an apparent contraction within the body. Though paradoxically, I could only talk about this, or this could only talk about that contracted energy when it was no more. So, but that is what seems to happen, apparently, that there is that contracted energy apparently appearing. And out of that comes the illusory sense that there is someone, I am here, and all the rest is out there. So that's the illusion of separation. That's the duality. I am here, and the rest is there. Duality, here, there. So, and that happens for no reason. But as that happens for no reason, what also can happen, apparently, of course, because nothing really happens. But in that sense, what apparently can happen is that contracted energy can just evaporate back into the whole again. And then it's just seen that there never ever was someone who had free will and choice. So it's the end of something that was never there.
And that's not bad because there is nobody to be bad for, right? So
we're talking about the end of good and bad and right and wrong and da-da-da-da-da. It's the end of that dreamt separate dualistic reality.
Yes.
So
okay.
All there is what is, or all there is what's apparently happening, and what's apparently happening is everything.
Yeah. Agreed.
There seems to be a question in the chat. Maybe this is recorded too, but yeah, that doesn't make, or that doesn't matter in that sense. So, a question. You still have feelings and sensations, but they are not from you. Well, this doesn't have anything really. Yeah. That was the whole dreamt reality, that there was someone here who had feelings and sensations or whatsoever. So this does not have anything, though feelings can appear. Yeah. That's all. Doesn't mean anything.
So the fear is to be delivered and do not have any more the self-will. But this being delivered to whatever happens, whatever appears, having no control. So that's
it's a joke, often not for the Nido, but it's a joke in that sense, because the fear that seems to appear is the fear not to be there anymore, which is already the case. So there is no one there already, and it's the fear of not having any control anymore, which is already how it appearing, or how it is appearing. There's already no you who is having control, though it can feel otherwise, of course. That's why this message doesn't make any sense, to put it like that. And the funny thing is that to call it a message, it's still rare, because what seems to happen within the dreamt reality, that almost everyone you meet is functioning within that dreamt reality, and they are trying to help you to get somewhere. And what it does, instead of reaching liberation or whatsoever, it's just reinforcing that illusory sense that there is a you who can achieve something. So in that sense, which is a joke, by the way, it's a conspiracy. I call it a conspiracy sometimes. Doesn't mean anything, but yeah, it's just saying that everyone that is functioning within that separate dreamt dualistic reality is just feeding that dreamt reality. And that is what just keeps the search going. And pointing that out to this, it's just compassion. For most people, it doesn't, it's not so compassionate, though this calls it compassion. It's that compassion, not by choice or not without that intention, but it's that compassion that maybe can destroy that illusion. Without the intention of doing so, because there is no intention for whatsoever. So what a great meeting to be in. It's not about something, it's not about nothing, and it's not for you.
Cheers.
Thanks. So you don't have to believe one single word that's coming out of here.
And the energetics, something happening? Like,
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that sense, which is already a story in itself, of course. But that's what's apparently happening. All there is energy. It's boundless energy.
Mm.
That is completely free to appear as. Though it's so free that it can appear as apparently contracted as well.
Mm. So the me, the energetical contraction will never lose the fear of disappearing?
Will never?
Lose the fear of disappearing? Like,
it's impossible to say. Whatever.
I mean, but who loses the fear? You know? Is there a me that survives? Yeah, it's still the same question.
It's the me who wants to join his own funeral.
Yeah.
If I want to die, I want to be there. Yeah. It's impossible. So that doesn't make it special or whatsoever. It's basically the end of that. But what is being suggested here is utterly simple. It's just obviously this. This is the mystery. It's all there is. This is totality. There's nothing else.
Mm.
But it's not special enough often. It has to be more.
So, again, the afterlife is only for egos that don't want to die yet? Or, no?
Who is there to have an afterlife? There is no one already who's having a life.
Yeah, this is the ultimate truth, but you know.
It's not even a truth. So what is coming out of here, or this suggestion, has nothing to do with the truth. Because to be there a truth, there needs to be a you who knows that this is the truth. We're not talking about a truth.
Okay.
And we're not talking about knowing. Because when the me dies, it's the end of knowing, but the knower who dies along with that. So this can be known. This is the unknowing mystery. And that's not the truth. That's just what is and isn't, which is already a story. That's the dilemma for the me. I need to find the truth. It can only come out of a dualistic separate reality. Because this is truthful, this is not the truth.
And the intention is to survive, so to say.
Well,
when I find the truth, I find something where I am forever or something, you know, like,
yeah,
where I don't die.
Yeah. Something,
Yeah, okay.
it's searching for something everlasting.
Yeah.
When I find enlightenment, it has to be everlasting, for example. It's searching for something to put onto me. It has to be something good for me. So it's escaping the bad stuff, or what is called what the me calls the bad stuff, in order to achieve the good stuff.
Yeah.
That's the dreamt separate dualistic reality. Though you're not doing that, seeking is what seems to happen. Seeking for a better experience is what seems to happen, apparently. Not by choice. Because there's no you who's doing that.
So when there is no time, there's also no timelessness, right?
It's a story. Though it can appear as time, obviously.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean it's real. Nothing is real. So there is no real time. That whole sense of realness, not only for time, but for everything really, just dies within me.
But you are not sad about it?
Sorry?
You are not sad about it?
Well, there's no one here. There's no one there either.
But sadness can appear, or sadness
can
okay.
appear, apparently.
But it's a relief for no one.
What's a relief?
Of the me, the burden of the me.
There are no rules to this. So whatever is happening is everything.
Already, yeah.
So you cannot pin it down to it's going to be this or that or what's happening is everything, apparently. But yeah, everything is only apparent. So
because it's just energy, vibration and stuff. That's why apparently, or what? Does it appear as apparently, or how would you
it's
say
appearing
it?
as everything, but everything is not a thing. So as long as there is a sense of a you, there will be a sense that there is a real you, and there's a real
That's
here,
the thing.
and there's a real there.
Yeah. No, I just wondered the word apparently. Why realized people, why they use it like,
well, there is no reason why somebody is using the word. It's what's happening. There is no why to that. Though what is meant by that is everything, but it's a story. So it's every attempt in the proper English, every attempt to point to this is a failure.
Apparently. No.
You cannot point to it's unknowing. So every attempt is really just, it's a failure. Yeah, it's a joke. But not for the me though. For the me, mostly it's serious business.
Which is a joke too. Yeah. I guess we can't win with you. Apparently.
Yeah, you can't lose either. So. Though within the story, mostly the me likes stories. Within the story of Nico-Ronald, it was on his way to something very special, and the belief was there as well that it was going to be whatsoever something special, but that didn't turn out well, really. There were no bells and fireworks in so-called liberation, which doesn't happen, by the way. It's a story.
But it's not in the sense like, let's say, like ordinary people say, it's all bullshit in their mind. Is it the same sense, or
What's
not
the question
spiritual
in that?
people? Not spiritual people. They tell you like, it's all in the mind. Liberation, stuff like this doesn't exist. It's just a word. And is it the same? Like when you say this is just concepts, or
It's storytelling, though. Every story is completely empty. This isn't happening. This isn't a happening, or this isn't a real happening. So we can share stories about so-called liberation, though liberation isn't a happening. It's not something that happens. That's what the me would want, that when I achieve liberation, or I would like to achieve liberation, but it would happen to me.
Sure.
It's so if we tell a story about that, or if storytelling about that happens, one could say is that liberation is a loss. Of course, that's also an empty story, but all is an empty story in that sense. Though liberation is a loss. It's a loss of that illusory sense that there was someone. But it turns out that it is seen that it just was never there.
So, and it's not good or bad either, or just what happened?
What is, yeah.
It's okay. Okay.
It's the end of that world of good and bad.
Because you don't have to survive anymore, so to say.
Well, you were never surviving in the first place. It was an illusion all along. So that felt sense that there is a real you who is moving through space and time, for example. It's that linear movement that seems to be so real. I was born and I grow up. I go to school. Later I have to find a job. Then I have a midlife crisis, and then, or not, sometimes, apparently. And then later I die. That's the story of most human beings, to put it like that.
Yeah, but why are we attached to different bodies? Let's say like this.
There are no different bodies.
Yeah, I know.
You're not attached to a different body. It's an illusion. There is no you. That's what you're describing, and there's no right or wrong in that. Though that's what you're describing is the illusion itself. I am here. I am inside this, what I call a body, and I'm looking to an external world.
Yeah.
That's the illusion.
Okay.
There's no one inside the body.
No perspective, so to say, like I look from here, you from there, and stuff like this? No.
Well, depending a bit on how you mean it, can be an apparent perspective in that sense. So seeing is what seems to happening, or is what seems to happen, though not by someone. So what he's pointing out here is that seeing is what's happening. Apparently.
Yeah. Okay.
So you don't have to find NotTwo. This is already NotTwo.
Thank you.
Sorry? No.
Thank you.
Please.
Oh.
So the conspiracy is passed from generation to generation.
So can you
and generates much suffering in the world, I guess. So I struggle a bit with this idea something goes wrong here. Something goes wrong.
So, is there a question in there?
And the question is, there's nothing to make it better.
Well, there is
With
no
the
you.
conspiracy.
There is no you to do whatsoever.
So shit happens again, more and more.
If that is what's apparently happening. That's what's apparently happening. It's really simple. What's happening is everything.
So this is the belief in right and wrong. This is right, this is wrong. Judging.
Yeah, though it's more than just a belief. You can put it like that. Though if it would only a belief, it would be just maybe easy to swap that belief, for example. So it's not just only a belief. Duality is not just only a belief. It's something energetic, to put it in a story like that. The world of right and wrong and good and bad and stuff like that. What is suggested, or the suggestion that is being made here, doesn't come out of a belief. It's the end of all beliefs in that sense. So it has nothing to do with your believing this or you don't believe this. It would be awful, I guess. Then there would be the sense of being someone who now believes there is no one, but still feels like someone. So it doesn't make any sense. The illusion of separation isn't just a belief or isn't just a thought. Because that's a concept that's often used in spirituality, I guess, which is an assumption. There's no importance in that sense as well. So the illusion of separation, there's nothing that can be done about it. That's the awful part, maybe for the me, but this is just pointing out there is nothing that can be done about it. There are no steps to this. And there's nothing that needs to be done about it as well. There's nothing wrong when there is the sense of being someone. There's nothing wrong with it. Because what seems to happen in a lot of teachings or whatever you want to call it is that The sense of separation is something that you need to overcome, for example, which is already duality itself. However, that doesn't say that to put it in a story, and only in a story, it's something that doesn't happen. Though to tell a story about it, that so-called liberation, in so-called liberation, it's the end of that illusion. Though, but that apparently happens, or it doesn't. So this didn't achieve anything. The one who wanted to achieve a lot of things just didn't make it for no reason. For no reason at all. It's not what I wanted either. But in that sense, there was a lot of disappointment in there as well. For no one.
Is there still conditioning left in the appearance of Nico?
I guess so. Who is there to know? Though I guess so. This talks for the moment in English, or what we call English, for example. Maybe not so proper English as well, but it seems it's still what seems to happen. Though, yeah, that's conditioning, I would say. Though that conditioning is not owned by someone. It's just appearing as that. I didn't start to speak Chinese after liberation. Didn't happen. Neither did liberation happen.
You have to make a download.
Sorry?
You have to do the download.
Oh yeah, send me the link, please.
Yes.
But just to improve my English a bit. I don't need Chinese. Some vodka. I can't take it anymore. It's hard to say really what is there and what isn't there. So it's a story about conditioning, for example. It's so hard to, it's impossible. Every story is completely empty. So though storytelling is still what seems to happen apparently. And if concepts like conditioning are used, so it's hard to say what it really is. It's all this unknowing appearing as
NotTwo.
All right. If there are no more questions, then we can call it a day, as they say in English. So when there is saying that this is it, it's not only in this so-called meeting, for example, but that's what you're looking for is constantly there. So in that sense, it's the perfect companion. It never leaves you, to put it in a story like that. All that is seen, all that's appearing is the mystery you're looking for. So thank you everyone for joining this meeting. There will be the first meeting will be a live one, I guess, in Berlin. Details are on the website, alreadynottwo.com. It's somewhere in April. I have to look for the date. Funny.
13th, I think. Yeah.
Sorry?
13th.
Oh yeah, can be, yeah. 13. Thank you. 13 and 14.
And
The
14th.
13th and the 14th of April. Details are on the website. And maybe we'll squeeze a Zoom in before or after. If so, I will put it on the website. Or at least I try. If it's appearing like that. So have a great evening, all of you. Thanks again. And until next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Dankeschön. Tschüss.
Tschüss. Bye-bye.
There's already no you. Not two.